Everybody ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Please rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing Enter, Rejoice, and Come In, found on page 361 of your gray hymnal and on page 65 of your Spanish hymnal. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Ven, alegrate hoy. Ven, alégrate hoy. Ven, alégrate hoy. Es hoy un día muy feliz. Ven, alégrate hoy.
Open your ears to the song.
Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
Ven a escuchar la canción.
Ven a escuchar la canción. Ven a escuchar la canción. Es hoy un día muy feliz. Ven, alégrate hoy.
Open your hearts, everyone.
Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
Ven abierto el corazón.
Ven abierto el corazón. Ven abierto el corazón. Es hoy un día muy feliz. Ven, alégrate hoy.
Don't be afraid of some change.
Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
No tengas miedo a cambiar.
No tengas miedo a cambiar. No tengas miedo a cambiar. Es hoy un día muy feliz. Ven, alégrate hoy. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Ven, alégrate hoy. Ven, alégrate hoy. Ven, alégrate hoy. Es hoy un día muy feliz. Ven, alégrate hoy. Es hoy un día muy feliz. Ven, alégrate hoy.
Well, that's a great way to start the day. Welcome, everyone, and thank you so much for adjusting to a online-only service. As I look out my sliding glass door, I just get reaffirmed that we made the right decision today. So thank you, and I'm so happy we're all here together. My name's Kevin Sitter. I'm a congregant here at Merging Waters Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We are a community that draws on the shared values of mindful interdependence, authentic curiosity, and courageous love. We welcome you and are glad you're able to join us today for this Zoom-only service due to our weather concerns. Here are a few announcements. Reverend Krista is taking some vacation days. She'll return on January 5th. If you have an emergency need, please reach out to our office administrator, Colleen, or one of our co-presidents, Liz Hayworth or Brian Hill. If you're new to Merging Waters, welcome today. We want you to consider signing up to receive our weekly e-news, which gives details and links to our events. To sign up when we're at the church, you can sign up on the sign-in sheet and check the box for email address, and we will add you to the mailing list. There's also a connection card on our web page. Remember, newcomers are welcome to all our programming. You need not be a formal member. And keep up with our announcements and our activities through our Thursday update, as well as on our website. A few highlights for January. Next Saturday is our January potluck and coffee house. The potluck begins at 5:30. Performances begin at 6:30. It's held at the Pilgrim House UU in Arden Hills. You can contact Chad Snyder if you're interested in performing, and I believe Tech is going to add chadsnyder@gmail.com into the chat. Now also, Chad's ordination is Saturday, January 13th in Bloomington at the Minnesota Valley UU. You're all welcome to join and celebrate, and I believe that there's the ability to help contribute if you want to. Katie, do you know if there's someone from our church that's sort of the contact for that coronation?
I don't know if there's a single person who is a contact. I think there's a couple different people.
Debbie
Deb
Schneider,
Deb can do
Schneider
some.
is saying
Yeah.
she is, and I'll trust Debbie saying she is if it's Debbie saying she is. Thank you. In addition to the ordination on January 13th, Sunday, January 25th at 11 a.m., which is prior to our service, Reverend Krista is hosting a New to UU class for all who are interested in learning or asking questions about Unitarian Universalism and our Merging Waters congregation. In addition to that great information, a pizza lunch will be part of the class.
And I'm Katie Johnson. Kevin and I are leading today's service. Byron Johnson is helping to manage Zoom today. Janice Zancott and I typically create the service slides, though today we are using a lot of videos. I want to give a special mention of thanks to Terry Bolter, who helped us with the music selection for today. She prepared several songs for an in-person service, but we were unable to get her Zoom connection set up to capture her guitar playing after we switched to a Zoom-only service. So thank you, Terry, and we are using recordings. Though we are using recordings for music for this service, we look forward to opportunities for Terry to share some of the songs she prepared in another service. Welcome once again to our service today. We hope these Sunday services provide a time of sanctuary, reflection, connection, and joy. Our theme today is Linked Together in Hope in the New Year. During our service today, we'll ask you to share one or more things that you are hoping for, whether it's something in your personal life, in the life of the congregation, in your local community, in the country or the world. Perhaps you will want to name hopes on all of these different levels. We had hoped to create a paper chain as a visible sign of how our hopes are linked together. With our switch to an all-Zoom service, we'd love to create our chain of hope in chat. We'll invite this sharing of hopes and sharing of any other reflections or poems you might have brought along today later in the service, but wanted to give you a heads up so you can be ready to share some of what might come to mind for you. Kevin, you were muted.
I was muted. We're going to have that problem. Sorry. I wanted to make the correction that Chad's ordination is on January 17th. So please pay attention to the chat, not to the person speaking. So now we're going to begin our service with our traditional chalice lighting. We invite you to light a chalice or candle at home if you have one. Please share in the chat where you're joining us from. Whether or not you light a chalice, this will remind us of how wide our community reaches. So our chalice lighting words are "even in the dark." It's from the Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo. Seldom seen, growing along the ocean floor, the white-plumed anemone is a watery blossom. It is white lace opening under tons of black, opening as if bathed by the sun, yet so far from the sun. This is a trick to staying well, isn't it? To feel the sun even in the dark. To not lose the truth of things when they go out of view. To grow just the same. To know there is water even when we're thirsty. To know there is still love even when we are lonely. To know there is still peace even when we're suffering. None of this invalidates our pain, but only strengthens our way back to the light. So, to prepare for today's service, I went looking to the past for quotes on hope, knowing that it's up to me, up to us, to carry it forward. But appreciating others who have hoped before us spurs my ability to continue to hope for the future. Here is a quote from John Murray, one of the founders of American Universalism. "You may possess only a small light, but uncover it. Let it shine. Use it in order to bring more light and understanding to the hearts and minds of men and women. Give them not hell, but hope and courage. Do not push them deeper into their theological despair, but preach the kindness and everlasting love of God." While a bit theistic, it helps me appreciate that for more than 200 years, we've been moving towards centering life in love. As a child, I always admired Harriet Tubman. One of her quotes is, "Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember, you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world." I think back to times when I felt like I faced the impossible, but stepped up anyway. Most of the time, things worked out. Once in a while, they didn't. But I haven't let that stop me from reaching for the stars. We all deserve to touch the stars. Like almost everyone, I read the diary of Anne Frank in school, and I've had the privilege of touring where they hid for 2 years and 1 month, 761 days. Through her book, you know there were stressful moments, tense moments, and conflict between them. However, a famous quote from Anne was, "Where there's hope, there's life. It fills us with fresh courage and makes us strong again." I humbly recognize that it is in times of despair that I must call upon hope to renew my spirit and return to my quest for love and justice. To become hopeless is to think the stars cannot be reached, and it weakens my resolve and response. I decided to look for a quote from John F. Kennedy, in part because of the current vilification of the Kennedy Center, but more so because he came from privilege and, relative to many, had less adversities in his life. AI, yes, this Luddite is starting to use AI, provided a good summary, including a quote from an address JFK gave to the United Nations. AI offered that John F. Kennedy's quotes on hope emphasized collective action. Future generations, especially children, facing challenges with strength and with power of individuals to create positive change. Seeing hope not as a passive wishing, but as an active striving for a better world, often tied to building peace and developing potential. Key themes for Kennedy included, children are the world's most valuable resource and its best hope for the future. And the call for courage at difficult times, urging people to dream of the things that never were and act against injustice. That is the key to today's service, that of collective action. We as individuals and as a congregation are not passively wishing, but actively striving for a better world, turning our hopes into reality. Had we been in person, we would have been creating a chain of hope. The online alternative will be a chat hope chain. We'll build our chain and share poems and reflections you want to offer later in the service after Katie's reflection and song.
So I have two little reflections on this idea of hope. I was visiting my mom a couple weeks ago, and I mentioned my frustration with so many things about this administration. And I've also talked to her about how I have strong emotions pretty close to the surface. These days, it's pretty easy for me to feel angry and outraged at it all. Somewhere in our visit, she expressed a wish that I might feel peace. I certainly appreciate the wish, but I noticed that peace didn't seem to be quite what I felt like I needed. I didn't really equate my frustrations with not being at peace. It seemed a little different than that. So around this time, the Soul Matters Facebook page, Soul Matters is where we get some of our preparation materials for these services. Anyway, on their Facebook page, I found these two quotes. Hope has two beautiful daughters. Their names are Anger and Courage. Anger at the way things are, and courage to see that they do not remain as they are. That was listed as an unknown author. And also a quote from Jürgen Moltmann, who said, "Hope does not calm the unquiet heart, but is itself this unquiet heart in all of us. Those who hope can no longer put up with reality as it is, but begin to suffer under it, to contradict it." These seemed to better reflect what was stirring inside of me. They suggest to me that hope might be something like an insistence on a different future, an insistence that I can work, that together we can work toward that better future. I do know that I do not want to be at peace with some of the things happening in our country today. I do not want to be at peace with the current immigration tactics, or the restrictions being placed on transgender health care, or the extreme wealth concentrated in the hands of a very few people. So the idea that an unquiet heart is some sort of evidence of hope, a motivator that urges me to find my role in shaping a better world, this really resonates with me. So sure, I want to be at peace about many things. I want to be at peace with decisions I make. I want to be able to find my way to a more peaceful place when I'm uptight about a busy schedule and not being able to get everything done. But hope, at least this understanding of hope, feels more like what I need for some of what I'm wrestling with in regards to finding my role in these troubling times. Might I let my unquiet heart point toward a hope for a different world rather than resignation? Might I allow that anger and frustration I feel to be fuel for the courage to speak up and to take action to help shape that better world? Another quote I kept returning to is this one from Joanna Macy. Active hope is a practice. Like Tai Chi or gardening, it is something we do rather than have. It is a process we can apply to any situation, and it involves 3 key steps. First, we take a clear view of reality. Second, we identify what we hope for in terms of the direction we'd like things to move in or the values we'd like to see expressed. And third, we take steps to move ourselves or our situation in that direction. Since active hope doesn't require our optimism, we can apply it even in areas where we otherwise feel hopeless. The guiding impetus is intention. We choose what we aim to bring about, act for, or express. Rather than weighing our chances and proceeding only when we feel hopeful, we focus on our intention and let it be our guide. To me, this does suggest that hope is a bit of a balancing act. That thing or the goal we name as a hope needs to be based in reality, yet also likely resides at the edge or even beyond what we might think could actually happen. It makes sense to me that hope must live partly within the realm of imagination, because we are hoping for something that is not yet true. But hope also demands that we take whatever real actions we can within the current situation to move us along a path in that direction of our desired outcome. I do think it's important to name or give shape to what we hope for. I think we'll get farther if we can say we hope for laws to support the identity of transgender people, or we hope to help people honor the earth, than if we say, I hope things will get better. But we don't get to just state our hope and then sit back and wait. Identifying what we are longing for helps us to identify the next right thing we can do to make it come true. Next, we'll share a recording of a song called Working on a World by Iris DeMent. The lyrics of this song acknowledge that we may be working on a world we may never see, yet this song draws hope and purpose from being part of a chain of warriors of love who came before and will follow you and me.
I got so down in trouble, I nearly lost my head. I started waking every morning, filled with sadness, fear, and dread. The world I took for granted was crashing to the ground, and I realized I might not live long enough to ever see it turn around. Oh, but then I got to thinking of the ones who came before, of all the sacrifices that they made to open up so many doors. Doors I got to walk through, on streets paid for me, by people who were working on it world they never got to see. Now I'm down working on a world I may never see. I'm joining forces with the warriors of love who came before and will follow you and me. I get up in the morning knowing I'm privileged just to be working on a world I may never see. I don't have all the answers to the troubles of the day, but neither did all our ancestors. They persevered anyway. When I see a little baby reaching out its arms to me, I remember why I'm working on a world I may never see. I'm working on a world I may never see. Joining forces with the warriors of love who came before and will follow